Peterson, escorted by Catherine Graulich. Honoree, Dr. Patricia Christel, the Private Practice Pediatric Legacy of Wilmington, escorted by Laura Lynn Camolo. 2005 honoree, Lynn Williams, Advocate for the Environment and Girls, inducted in the Women's Hall of Fame in 2009, escorted by Abby Coverdale. Newcastle County Executive Thomas P. Gordon, escorted by Simone Josie. Board Chair of Girl Scouts of the Chesapeake Bay, Lynn Shan, escorted by Jenna Dewey. Vice Chair of Girl Scouts of the Chesapeake Bay, Mary Cully, escorted by Christian Parker. Planning Committee Co-Chair, Liz Farrell, escorted by Sydney Jenkins. Planning Committee Co-Chair, Isabel Farrell, escorted by Danny Moore. Deneen Keener Damon, Honorary Co-Chair, Director of Richards, Layton, and Finger, escorted by Brielle Stevens. Kathleen Fury McDonough, Honorary Co-Chair, Partner at Potter, Anderson, Peru, escorted by Caitlin Wright. It is my great honor to introduce the 2016 Woman of Distinction, Dr. Janice E. Nevin, escorted by Zora Johnson. I would like to introduce the leaders of our future, Girl Scouts from across the Delmarva Peninsula who are in attendance this evening. Please lead us in a salute to the flag. Girl Scouts, attention. Color guard, attention. Color guard advance. pledge your colors. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag of our country, let us pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard, hoist your colors. Please join us in the Girl Scout honor. On my honor,
I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law.
color guard dismissed.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountains, majesties of the mountain lakes,
Please welcome Girl Scout Michaela Maxwell, who will give the invocation.
Good evening. My name is Michaela Maxwell, and I'm a student at Coastal Lake Middle School. Tonight we join as Girl Scouts, as Girl Scout alumni, and as friends. We celebrate this year's Women of Distinction and take time to recognize the principles of Girl Scouting. Let us also remember those in the Girl Scout family we have lost in the past year. We shall forever hold them in our hearts. Please reflect on the words of tonight's invocation. Dear Lord, guide us Girl Scouts today in all our work and all our play. Help us to see where we may serve in some new place, in some new way. Before our searching eyes unfold, new beauties which are seldom told. Help us to live the promise taken, code for both Scouts young and old. Give us strength, our job to do, and courage too, to see it through. Help us to live the promise taken as we dedicate ourselves anew.
It is my pleasure to introduce the board chair of the Girl Scouts of the Chesapeake Bay, Ms. Lynn Shand.
Please be seated. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the board, the staff, and the families of Girl Scouts and adult volunteers who comprise the Girl Scouts of Chesapeake Bay, I would like to thank you all for joining us this evening. This is an exciting night for our council. Over the years, we have honored 17 dynamic women for their successes in fields such as medicine, finance, education, volunteerism, science, and the military.
I am very honored to introduce the planning chairs for the 2016 Women of Distinction Celebration, Liz and Isabel Farrell. Liz Farrell is Communications Manager at Miniature Museum, Garden and Library, the former country estate of Henry Francis DuPont. She was a Girl Scout growing up and recently worked as Communications Manager for Girl Scouts of Chesapeake Bay. She has a background as a news reporter, pharmaceutical marketing, and public affairs. In addition to her role at Miniature, she serves as Vice Chair of the Brandywine Museums and Gardens Alliance. This is a proud University of Delaware graduate and has a master's degree from Georgetown University. Isabel Farrell is a major gift officer and corporate events liaison for Miniature Museum, Gardens, and Library, also the former estate of Henry Francis DuPont. She too was a Girl Scout growing up. Her background includes working at the Delaware Art Museum in special event planning and membership. Isabel worked as an administrative aide at the Court of Chancery and the Supreme Court for the former Justice Karen Burger. Isabel is an alum of the University of Delaware, undergraduate and graduate programs. Please welcome Liz and Isabel.
Thank you, Lynn. Good evening, everyone. Growing up as Girl Scouts, it has been such an honor for my sister and me to work with such a talented group of Girl Scout volunteers in order to make this evening possible. As I call your names, would you please stand and remain standing? Audience, please hold your applause until everyone is standing. The dedicated planning committee of the 17th Annual Women of Distinction Program and Celebration: Sylvia S. Banks, Lynn Calder, Mary M. Cully, Esquire, Julie Eman, Shauna T. Hagan, Esquire, Lise Monty, and Joan F. Briswara. Thank you. Thank you so much for your dedication to the Girl Scouts. And a special thank you to Girl Scouts of the Chesapeake Bay staff members: Audrey Boyce, Eileen Pelham, Setta Shane, Gina Zulak, and Renee Martin for their exceptional assistance to the committee. Thank you. We would like to recognize the elected officials and good friends of Girl Scouting who have joined our celebration. Audience, I ask that you please hold your applause until everyone is standing. Mayor of Wilmington, Dennis Williams, Newcastle County Executive Thomas P. Gordon, United States Senator Tom Carver, United States Senator Chris Coons. As we move on to dinner, I encourage you to talk with Girl Scouts sitting at your tables about the many wonderful programs and projects they are doing as Girl Scouts, from earning their Girl Scout Gold Award, to traveling abroad, to exploring potential careers, and gaining leadership experience through community service projects. Thank you, and enjoy your dinner.
We hope you enjoyed your dinner and our dessert created by executive pastry chef Michelle Mitchell. I am Sophia Angela Thomas, a Girl Scout senior at Appoquinimink High School, and I am very honored to be here with you this evening. I would like everyone to please turn your attention to the screen as we watch a short video.
Hi there, welcome to Christiana. How can I help you?
Can I have directions to Dr. Mevisol?
Certainly, she's located right down this corridor on your right, okay? Have a nice day, thank you.
Hi, I'm Ivy. I'm
Janice Nevin. So glad to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Everybody's so nice here.
Oh, I really appreciate you saying that.
Here's some Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, fabulous. I love Girl Scout cookies. Thank you so much. Why don't we sit down and talk?
Okay. So I heard you're the president of Christiana Care. What exactly do you do?
So I'll tell you the way I think about my job. At Christiana Care, we take care of people from all over Delaware and from parts of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. So when I get up in the morning, my job is to serve those people who are our organization, the people we take care of and the people that work here. I have a great leadership team. I think one of the first rules of leadership, and you may even learn this in the Girl Scouts, is it's always important to get a team around you. And together we work with our community, our partners in the community. We do lots of listening and learning. We've got some tough issues. We've got to deal with the cost of care. We've got to make sure that the care we provide is the highest quality and the safest care. But it's the best kind of work, I know, for me, that I want to do.
Well, it sounds like you do a lot being a president of Christiana Care. Do you have any time to do things for fun?
I think it's really important to make time for yourself and to take care of yourself. I also believe you have to have fun at work. So we have a great time here at Christiana Care. But one of the things that I love to do is exercise. And a couple of years ago, I discovered yoga. So I try to make sure that at least 3 or 4 times a week, I get to a yoga class. It's good for the mind, it's good for the soul, it's good for the body.
Do you have anything here that you work on?
Sure. I'd love to show you my desk. Can we do that?
Sure.
As I said, I do yoga. I even keep a yoga mat here just in case. But here's a treadmill desk. Do you want to hop on and give it a try?
Sure.
Just starts moving and you walk. It's a great way to stay active at work, get some of those steps in, work off some of those Girl Scout cookies.
When did you know that you wanted to be a doctor?
I wanted to be a doctor pretty much for as long as I can remember. My best friend was the daughter of the local family doctor, and I think that was probably what got me interested in practicing medicine. And so as far back as I can remember, I wanted to be a doctor.
What was your favorite subject in school?
I actually loved English literature. I loved to read and write, which is a little bit different than folks might expect, because usually people who go into medicine love the sciences, biology and chemistry. And I enjoyed the sciences, but I really loved history and literature.
So, if you're the president of Christiana Care, how did you get up to that stage?
Well, I can tell you, when I look back, I certainly didn't think that I would be the CEO. I'm not even sure I knew what a CEO actually did. For me, it's a great privilege to give back to the community that has done so much for me and my family.
So you mentioned the other ways being a leader. What are those other ways?
There are many different ways. We have lots of leaders at Christiana Care. So I happen to be a physician and now happen to be the CEO of the health system, but we have leaders throughout our organization. We have physician leaders, doctor leaders who help us solve those problems that we were talking about. We have nurse leaders who help make sure that patients get the best care. We have leaders who are in technology. You don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be a nurse. There are many different ways that you can contribute to healthcare and to be a leader.
Sounds a lot like Girl Scouts.
I thought it might, yes.
Were you ever a Girl Scout?
I was a brownie. Both of my children started as daisies and were brownies and then cadets. And my mother was a brownie, and my mother-in-law was very involved with the Girl Scouts. She actually sat on the Girl Scout board in Pennsylvania many years ago.
So when you were a kid, who was your role model?
When I think about my childhood, I really looked up to my parents. They were very important. I learned from them social responsibility, that you're put here on this earth to have a purpose and to make a difference.
So Ivy, do you think one day you'd like to work at Christiana Care Health System?
Probably.
That's great.
It is with my great pleasure that I introduce the honorary chairs of the 17th Annual Woman of Distinction Program and Celebration. Kathleen Fury McDonough is a partner at Potter Anderson Carew, where she specializes in employment and labor counseling and employment litigation. She was recognized by the Best Lawyers in America 2016 in employment management and labor management law. Ms. McDonough earned degrees from St. Joseph's University and Temple University School of Law. Deneen Keemer Damon is a director at Richards, Layton & Finger, where she specializes in business law. She earned the Jean Allard Glass Cutter Award from the American Bar Association in 2015. In addition to her leadership roles in the firm, Deneen also serves on the board of directors for Christiana Care Healthcare System and the Delaware Community Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, Kathleen Fury McDonough and Deneen Keemer Damon.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deneen Damon. I'm a director with Richards, Layton & Finger, and Kathleen McDonough is a partner with Potter Anderson and Carew, and it is our pleasure to be here with you this evening. We're very pleased to join you to honor this year's Woman of Distinction and to recognize the exceptional teens here this evening from the Girl Scouts of the Chesapeake Bay. I would like to also recognize the honorary committee members who are present. They've been making the world a better place for all citizens, and we thank them for all they've done for Girl Scouts. Would all honorary committee members who are present this evening please stand and be recognized?
The Women of Distinction event provides a unique opportunity for these outstanding teens to connect with businesswomen and government leaders of Delmarva and celebrate the significant contributions made by women. Recent honorees have included Delaware Air National Guard Brigadier General Carol A. Timmons, Delaware's First Lady Carla Markell, and Secretary of the Delaware Department of Health and Social Services Rita Landgraf.
So it is now our pleasure to introduce you to this evening's nominee. Dr. Janice Nevin, CEO, President of Christiana Care. We're going to give you a little bit of background about Janice, and you'll understand why she's being honored this evening. Janice graduated from Harvard University in 1981 and earned her doctorate in medicine with honors from Jefferson Medical College in 1987. She completed her family medicine residency at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital in 1990 and received her master's degree in public health and community health services from the University of Pittsburgh, Graduate School of Public Health in 1992. She also finished a 2-year faculty development fellowship in family medicine at St. Margaret Hospital in Pittsburgh, completed a program in executive education at Harvard Business School in 2010, and a fellowship in physician executive leadership at the Health Management Academy in 2009. She's been quite busy. In addition to her responsibilities as president and CEO of Christiana Care, Dr. Nevin serves on the American Association of Medical Colleges Health Advisory Panel and Leadership Forum, and she's vice chair of the Fellowship Advisory Committee of the Health Management Academy. She also serves on the Delaware Healthcare Commission, comprised of leaders throughout our state who look to make health care more affordable and accessible for all Delawareans. In addition, she serves on the board of directors for both the United Way of Delaware and the Delaware Community Foundation. She is nationally recognized for her strong commitment to patient and family-centered care. She's a visionary with a breadth of knowledge in healthcare, an openness to listen, a willingness to learn, and a desire to continue to ensure that Christiana Care's delivery of exceptional, high-quality health care for the greater Delaware community remains a priority. She's a true leader who works collaboratively with various constituencies with the highest level of integrity and ethics. She's also a strategic thinker with a focus on clinical and operational excellence. Most importantly, however, Dr. Nevin is a servant leader. She's service-oriented with a true commitment to the community. Now that we've told you a little bit about Janice as CEO and president, we'd like to share more with you about Janice as a young girl and woman.
The most important thing to remember about Dr. Nevin is that she was once a young woman, just like each of the Girl Scouts here tonight. We're sure that Janice would agree that there are many reasons that she has achieved the success she enjoys today, and many are rooted in the person she was when she sat where you sit tonight. We all know that becoming a doctor is not an easy road, let alone achieving the type of prominence within the medical community that Dr. Nevin has achieved. Of course, having passion and a dream can help anyone master challenges, and that was certainly the case with Dr. Nevin. But equally essential to achieving great success is the commitment and hard work that is needed to prevail over obstacles, particularly the challenges that can sometimes seem overwhelming. We all have to start somewhere, as did Janice Nevin. You don't manage to do as well academically as she did without really enjoying reading and writing too, and we heard her tell us that in her charming video. And from what we hear, she had a very early start in the reading game. Apparently, she was reading cereal boxes at the age of 2. We haven't yet heard that she was also writing at this young age, although it wouldn't surprise us at all if she were. But we do know that she's always enjoying writing and has written extensively throughout her career. Janice never shied away from the harder things. After all, even cereal boxes can be hard to read for a 2-year-old. Have you seen those lists of ingredients on a cereal box? Rest assured, however, that things got more difficult in a cereal box as Janice pursued her dream of becoming a doctor. And as the challenges got tougher, from high school to college to medical school and beyond. Did I hear Denise say she went to Harvard twice? She did not shy away from the complex issues. And in doing so, it helped her make a person who, as described to us by someone who knows her well, is comfortable with complexity. What a great term. Part of being a person who gets to be comfortable with complexity and who doesn't avoid a challenge, even a tough one, is the ability to be resilient. To get back up and try again, even if you didn't succeed the first time, and even, it happens to everyone, even my dear friend Janice Nevin, if you make a mistake. Not succeeding the first time and sticking with your goal, even if you've made a mistake along the way, are part of what has made Janice so successful. She is resilient. And she works hard. She always has. While in college, Janice worked as an administrative assistant and still managed to achieve academic success. That may be in part due to one of her guiding principles learned from her father. Never put off until tomorrow what you can do today. Like many of us, Janice attributes much of her values and success to her parents, who taught her the value of hard work and the importance of passion and commitment, something her father, who was an Episcopalian minister, and her mother, who worked as an administrative assistant for a school district, knew a lot about. But hard work alone didn't bring Dr. Nevin to where she is today. She had a dream, like so many of you do, along with the passion and commitment to make it happen. And it always happens to have friends. Janice was born in England, and her best friend there, again, you already heard this on the video, a girl named Dilys, was the daughter of a doctor. Even as young girls, Janice and her friend wanted to become doctors. And what is very cool is that they both did. Dilys in England and Janice here in the United States, which has been her home since she was about 10 years old. Janice has always been a compassionate person who has wanted to help others, a dream she continues to follow today. But maybe the best sense of Janice Nevin as a young girl comes from a story that brings together many of the attributes we've been talking about. Hard work, commitment, passion, and never stepping back from a challenge. As we've mentioned, Janice and her family moved to the U.S. from England when she was about 10 years old. Now, England has many great sports, soccer, which they insist on calling football, and cricket, to name a few. But one sport they don't have, at least not then, is basketball. Even though when Janice came to the United States, she had never seen the sport played by anyone, she signed up for the basketball team. And at the end of the season was named the most improved player on the team. Now, the Girl Scouts in the audience will appreciate having heard a similar story during the wonderful panel discussion that was held before dinner earlier this afternoon. We had a different take on Janice's achievement. It was described to the girls that when you become the most improved player on the team, it really is not so much an achievement. Janine and I feel differently, and we are proud of Janice for joining a team in a sport that she had never even seen played.
So while Dr. Nevin is very accomplished in her professional career, she's still very much like the rest of us. So to show you that she's one of us, we thought we would share some information about Janice. And I think in doing so, you'll realize that she's very similar to many of us in the room, particularly many of the Girl Scouts. So for those of us who love chocolate, Janice is truly our friend, as you clearly saw from this evening's dessert, inspired by her love of tagalongs. In fact, her favorite dessert is not only chocolate, but chocolate combined with ice cream is a very good pairing on her table. We all love our music, and Janice is no different. She can rock out with the best of us, but especially to her favorite band and singer, Bruce Springsteen. In fact, a little birdie told us that a couple of years ago they went to a Springsteen concert, and those with her were surprised that he didn't actually invite her up on stage to sing along. Like many of us, Janice also likes to shop, and she's been known to occasionally pick up a gadget or two, such as the Apple Watch that she wears every day, just to make sure she gets in those 10,000 steps. She's also an avid reader. She has a very eclectic taste in books and authors, but she's always drawn to books on leadership, a testament to her professional drive. And like many of you, Janice did not limit her learning to academics. She loves sports, as you heard. What you didn't hear are all of the various sports she played. She rowed at St. Andrews and Harvard, where she was captain of the lightweights. She played basketball, she played soccer, field hockey, and lacrosse. In addition to all of her professional accomplishments and personal achievements, there's nothing more that Janice cherishes than her family. She's a mother of two wonderful daughters who are here with us this evening, Annie and Emma. She's also a loving wife. Her husband is also a physician, and the family bond that they have supporting one another and raising their two wonderful daughters is phenomenal. So one might ask, is there anything Janice can't do? And Kathleen and I would say, no, there isn't. The fact that Janice takes on every challenge is a testament to who she is. And that's also a lesson for all of our Girl Scouts here this evening. Even at this stage in her career, having accomplished as much as she still has a desire to learn and to continue to improve herself in every way. Let that be a life lesson. Success is not about being a point in time, but it's a journey that's filled with many successes along the way. Janice should be your inspiration to follow your dreams, to push yourself to always be your best, to try new things, to be a lifelong learner, and above all, to enjoy the journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in honoring the Girl Scouts of Chesapeake Bay's Northern Woman of Distinction for 2016, our friend, Dr. Janice Nevin.
We also have a proclamation from the office of Senator Margaret Rose Henry in honor of Janice that we'd like to read. Be it hereby known to all, Senator Margaret Rose Henry is joined by the Senate of the 148th General Assembly in commending Janice E. Nevin, MD and PH, President and Chief Executive Officer of Christianity Care Health System, as the recipient of the Girl Scouts of Chesapeake Bay 17th Annual Women of Distinction Award. Recognizing the time and talent she has rendered on behalf of the citizens of the First State. As a prominent physician and administrator, Dr. Nevin is a shining example of this year's theme, innovation and leadership. Senator Henry finds it most befitting that the Senate pay tribute to a fine lady and her exemplary leadership. Numerous lives have been touched and enriched through her exemplary service to others. With congratulations on this most recent accolade, the Senate directs this tribute presented Tuesday, the 8th of March, Anno Domini 2016.
Well, my heart's beating really quickly. Thank you so much for this wonderful honor. But first, why don't we give a round of applause to the real star of the video, Ivy. Girl Scout stands for is right there in Ivy, so thank you so much. So as you've heard, I'm a fan of yoga, and each practice involves setting an intention, generally a word or thought that has meaning. And so recently, the words that have resonated with me are gratitude, empathy, and courage. So let me start with gratitude. I am so very grateful to Deneen and Kathleen, two absolutely extraordinary women who are both innovative and impactful leaders in our community. Thank you so much for serving as honorary co-chairs and that wonderful introduction. I will find out who you've been talking to at some point. I get asked all the time, what is it that makes Christiana Care special? And it's always a really easy answer. I work with extraordinary people, and I'm so very appreciative that so many of my colleagues are here this evening. They are truly the heart and the soul of our organization, and it is my deep honor to serve them. So thank you for being here. The words of the Christiana Care start with, we serve our neighbors. So I'm also very happy to have many of our neighbors here, many of the organizations that we work so closely with, colleagues in healthcare from Moores and around the state. But I also have real neighbors here, people who my next door neighbor and across the street neighbor. So I'm really appreciative that you're here. Thank you very much. And a special thanks to my family who's here. My sister Claire, who is a Girl Scout, who's actually preparing the rebuttal to all of the nice things she said about me. She was the middle child, you know how that goes. And then my husband Charlie, who's been a wonderful partner in life. It turns out his sisters were Girl Scouts, and as you heard, his mother was on the board of the Pennsylvania Girl Scout Board. But what you probably didn't know is Frances Hesselbein, and for all the Girl Scouts in the room, that name means something, actually was from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, which is where Charlie and his family are from. And her husband actually painted Charlie's portrait when he was about 2, as well as the portrait of the dog, her family dog at that time. So the Hesselbeins were friends of the Poles. Frances Hesselbein was awarded the Presidential Medal of Honor, a Medal of Freedom for her work as the CEO of the Girl Scouts. She's really credited with turning the organization around. She brought daisies to Girl Scouting, and she also worked very hard to increase minority participation. And she's now the CEO of the Frances Hesselbein Leadership Institute, has received numerous national and international accolades. She really is the epitome of innovation and leadership and the embodiment of all that's possible when it comes to Girl Scouts. And she's from Johnstown and was friends with my husband, so that's really, really cool. I didn't know that before this. And as you heard, Both of my daughters are here, which they're both in their early 20s, so when we're all together, that alone is a major miracle. And I'm so thrilled that they're here this evening. They were both Girl Scouts, and I know we're in cookie season, so I'm having flashbacks to the dining room that was filled with cookies when it was cookie sale time. And really, thank you to all of you who are here this evening. It is a true privilege to be among such accomplished and committed community leaders. Each of you tonight is contributing to an extraordinary chapter in the Girl Scouts' legacy of innovation and leadership. And I'm very grateful for your commitment to these girls who will lean in and change the world. And of course, a very special thank you to our Girl Scouts who are with us today. They're amazing. Your dedication, your character, and your leadership are inspiring. I can already sense in the room that we have an amazing generation of future women leaders. So I'm very, very inspired by that. They spilled the beans. I spent the early part of my life in England, and so when I was a Girl Scout, I was actually a Girl Guide, and I was a Brownie. My mother also was a Brownie, and she's now 84, so this was a long time ago. She was a Sprite, and if you know my mother, it's perfectly fitting that she was a Sprite. But at the time I was a Brownie, our promise was, I promised that I would do my best to love my God, to serve my Queen and my country, to help other people, and to keep the Brownie Guide Law. And the Brownie Guide Law during my time was lend a hand. Today the words have changed, but the meaning is very much the same. A Brownie Guide thinks of others before herself and does a good turn every day, which is English for a good deed every day. So I would say that this is arguably the definition of empathy, which is at the core of healing. And although I wanted to be a physician, to lend a hand and help others, I think I learned more about innovative leadership and empathy from my patients than anyone else. So I wanted to share a memorable story, patient story with you. I've shared this story on previous occasions, but it means a lot to me, and it always, I think, is worth a retelling. And this takes me back to July of my third and final year as a family medicine resident at Jefferson. And I was working in a family medicine office and met a patient named Mr. B. He was about 60 years old, African American, looked very disheveled, had a sort of a shock of salt and pepper hair, smelled a little bit like nicotine, his nails were yellow, and his legs were swollen, and blood pressure was off the charts. So I looked at the paperwork, and I turned and I said, "Hi, my name is Dr. Nevin, and we have something in common." And of course, at this point, I think I'm in a Flora Laura Ashley dress and a white coat, and he looks at me like I'm absolutely out of my mind, and I laughed, and I said, "Happy birthday." It turned out we shared the same birthday, and it was that very day. So he gave me a big smile. And over the next few weeks, I worked with him to get his blood pressure down, the fluid out of his system, get all the testing done that needed to be done. And to make a long story short, one of the imaging studies he had done revealed what appeared to be metastatic kidney cancer. So I consulted with several varieties of specialists, and all believed that this was untreatable. No option for surgery, radiation, or chemotherapy. So I was faced with having to give him the bad news. And as a third-year family medicine resident, we get trained in giving bad news. I had experience giving bad news, but I really wasn't looking forward to it. Not only because the news was difficult, but I had also developed a very special relationship with Mr. B, and I was genuinely sad about what he was going to hear. So I had him bring one of his daughters in, and we sat together in the exam room, and I fairly slowly and methodically described the findings, the implications. Essentially, you have cancer and there's no treatment. So I got to the end of what was probably a fairly stilted explanation, and Mr. B reached out. He took my hand in his. He looked at me straight in the eye, and he said, "Dr. Nevin, I know you have done everything you could do. You are going to be all right." I thought I was supposed to be comforting him, but it was a moment of great clarity and profound humility. I mean, here was this uneducated man from one of the poorest neighborhoods in the city teaching me, his doctor, about empathy. And it's a lesson I will never forget. Today, when I think about the decisions that we make at Christiana Care, I often think about Mr. B, and I think about the people and the families who entrust us with their health. It all comes down to our mission, serving our neighbors as respectful, expert partners in their health. On to courage. So right after it was announced I was the new CEO, I had the opportunity to meet with a couple of CEOs of some very, very big national companies, as well as Senator Carper. And I asked them all, if you had one piece of advice for me, what would that be? And it was interesting, they all said courage. The courage to always do the right thing, even if it seems impossible. The courage to be resilient and to persevere in adversity. When I first heard the term servant leadership, I realized that unknowingly and unintentionally that was the model I was following. It was the model my mentors followed, and as you know from your own Girl Scout history, it was the model of your founder, Juliette Gordon Low. Leadership is so often equated with power, absolutes, and superlatives. The best, the most, the highest. The leaders I admire and whose path I follow, and the leaders you follow in this historic and honorable organization, are the servant leaders. I think that's innovation in leadership. Why did Juliette Gordon Low establish the Girl Scouts? To serve the women and girls of her native Savannah and our country. And which girls did she envision as part of her organization? Not only the brightest, the most athletic, or the most talented, no. She insisted that the Girl Scouts reach across all those artificial boundaries, across class, culture, and ethnicity, to serve all girls in growing and developing their leadership skills. Now, special to me as a family doctor, is her inclusion of girls with disabilities, including differences perceived by society as disabilities. Ms. Lowe herself suffered from near total hearing loss from injuries as a child and a young adult. Her vision took courage. This was 100 years ago. And it may be hard to believe, probably not with this group, but women leaders were scarce. And that makes her accomplishments all the more remarkable. You've heard the expression, standing on the shoulders of giants. She had broad shoulders indeed. And there are so many courageous women of our time who have stood on her shoulders. Every female Secretary of State in U.S. history is a Girl Scout alum. Madeleine Albright, Condoleezza Rice, Hillary Rodham Clinton. This was an organization that started before women even had the right to vote. Pretty amazing. Also part of the Girl Scouts legacy, the first female Supreme Court Justice, Sandra Day O'Connor, astronaut Sally Ride, Venus Williams, the tennis player, and many entertainers, Lucille Ball and Taylor Swift. So really women in every field imaginable, from poetry, athletics, the military, media, motherhood, business, education, and of course health and science, have been Girl Scouts. About 64% of women leaders in the U.S. today were Girl Scouts. Again, truly remarkable and courageous. On the 100th anniversary of the Girl Scouts in 2012, President Barack Obama posthumously awarded Juliette Gordon Low the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian award in the United States, for her remarkable vision and her dedication to empowering girls everywhere. If Ms. Low were here today, I would thank her for her courage, for her commitment to girls' health, incorporating sports and other physical activity, and a focus on appreciating nature into scouting was inspired and truly progressive. Today, there are 3 million Girl Scouts in 92 countries who are living healthier lives and growing up to be strong, active, courageous leaders. So back to gratitude. Again, I am deeply honored, humbled, and grateful for this extremely meaningful award, and I want to thank you deeply. Thank you for continuing this legacy of health and of promise. Thank you for lending a hand up, so that girls and women for generations can climb on the strong shoulders of one another to serve and to lead with courage, with empathy, with confidence, and with character. Thank you very much. Questions. So I would like to invite Lise and Sophia to the stage.
Hi, Sophia. Is this working?
Should be on.
Okay. You can ask the first question. Okay, I think we're all set. Sophia and I are going to ask a few questions. And the good thing about the questions is that they were all put together by the Girl Scouts themselves. So you know they're going to be really good questions. So go ahead, Sophia.
So this question is by Devin Regolia from Troop 425, and her question is, what advice do you have for Girl Scouts in order for them to have a successful future?
That's a wonderful question, and we talked about this, I think, in the panel this afternoon. In the panel this afternoon, there were half a dozen wonderful leaders from Christiana Care who, all different backgrounds, but each of them said consistently, and I would say the same thing, they found their passion. And sometimes it took a little bit of work or a little bit of time, but once they discovered their passion, they made the most of it, and it led them to the career that they are now in. So I think it's very important to understand what makes you tick, what gives you that sense of purpose that you can be passionate about.
Okay, this question is from Miriam Chowdhury from Troop 696. What is your favorite thing about the work you do?
I love my work because I work with great people. I have a wonderful leadership team. As I said in the video, we've got lots of hard challenges, but I work with people who are smart and so incredibly committed to caring for the people that we serve. It really is a pleasure to come to work every day. I also love the people that I meet when I go on rounds and I talk to nurses at the bedside or some of our folks who help clean the rooms or deliver the food. And I love talking to our patients and their families. There is something extraordinarily rewarding about being part of a great team and knowing that you're making a difference in the lives of the people that you serve.
Okay, this question is from Amanda Bexer from Troop 1081. Did you face any struggles getting to where you are now because people doubted you based on your gender?
That's a complicated question. I would say, and I was raised to believe that anything was possible and that gender was not a reason not to pursue a dream. So in that sense, I would say no. But I do think there are challenges for women in the workplace that are very real, often very subtle. And so it's very important, as I've often said, it's not enough to be at the table. When you are at the table, you have to actively work to lean in and make a difference and make sure your voice, your unique voice that you bring gets heard. And that can sometimes be a bit of a challenge.
Okay, the next one is from Emily Freeman, who's with Troop 1003. Why did you continue to expand your education from family medicine?
I think well, number one, I love to learn, and I think it's very important in any field, but particularly in healthcare, that you continually commit to learning. I think back to when I was a medical student, some of the illnesses that we, for example, the HIV/AIDS epidemic was just appearing, and now it's a chronic disease that we manage very capably. So what I learned in medical, I had a 1-hour lecture on it in medical school in the mid-1980s. Again, it's a very different kind of disease in 2016. So there's the imperative of changing knowledge, changing technology, but I also think it's important to keep your mind sharp and engaged, to continually renew.
This question is from Hannah Poon from Troop 425. What is the most important quality for a doctor?
I think that in medicine we talk about professionalism, which is this deep and unique moral compact that we make with the people that we serve. It's about caring, it's about listening, it's about empathy. It's pretty challenging to be successful in healthcare if you don't start with the fundamental desire to provide care.
This is from Sophia. What life lesson did you learn during the process of becoming the CEO and president?
So I had an interesting experience. The board did a national search, and I sort of got put through all of the same interviews and the entire process that all of the other candidates experienced. And I was very grateful for that for two reasons. One is it really forced me to do some self-reflection and do some self-learning so that I had an opportunity to think about what I wanted to do next in my career, how I wanted to make a difference. But the other really important thing was because I went through the process, I got to talk to my colleagues in leadership and on the board. And it really deepened my desire and commitment to Christiana Care. I had the chance to hear differently from the people who work there. And so at the end of the process, I knew that I wanted to be, not only wanted to be the CEO of a health system, but I very much wanted to be the CEO of Christiana Care Health System because it's such an incredible place and organization.
This question is from Elise Davis from Troop 309. How does your career make the world a better place?
As I've said, there's nothing more humbling or more satisfying or more privileged than to be able to give back to the community that has essentially raised and nurtured both me and when I was younger, I've been a Delaware resident for most of my life, and my family who's here with me. And so what I find so incredibly powerful in terms of what I get to do, and for which I am extremely grateful for, is the opportunity to wake up every day, connect with people, and truly make a difference for the people that we serve, and frankly for all of the people in Delaware.
This is from Sarah Dooley, Troop 1191. What is the best memory of your job?
I have lots of great memories, and again, it comes back to the people. I think one of my fondest memories is the story of the work that we did at Wilmington when we were undergoing through all of the changes in construction. That was about a 5-year project, right? Danette, there's one of my partners in crime for that time. And, and I was the leader at that campus, and I was tasked with not only making sure that we stayed open and people could get the care that they need, but to transform how we deliver care inside the 4 walls. And it was the work in many ways was magical because it was really about creating teams. We were absolutely committed to embracing patient and family-centered care. We really introduced those concepts to a Christiana Care health system, and we were relentless in making sure that patients and families had a voice in their care. And I think that we not only transformed the building, and if you haven't been there recently, I'd strongly recommend you go take a visit. You won't recognize it. But what I would say even more importantly, we transformed the care, and it's just an extraordinary place.
And this is the last question,
This one is from Jamie Hoffman from Troop 537. What did it feel like learning that you were to be the honorary of this theater?
I had to sit down. Secretary Landgraf nabbed me and let me know, and it's just, well, first of all, you look at the list of women that the Girl Scouts have honored. They're truly amazing women. I think Delaware is incredible. We have incredible women in Delaware, incredible leaders. It's just an amazing state when you think about, to some extent, how small we are. So for number one, for Secretary Landgraf to share the news with me, that alone, my heart stopped and I had to sit down. But I know what this means, and I am just incredibly grateful, humbled, and thank you so much for the honor.
There's actually one more.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. It was her last question. We have to ask them all. If you weren't a doctor, what do you think you'd be doing today? This is the last question.
If I hadn't gone to medical school, I believe I would still be doing something in healthcare. In many ways, in my college years, I discovered public health, and I discovered how communities and systems actually made a difference in the health of people. So I think I made a decision that I thought that I could have the most impact by going to medical school, being a physician and being a physician leader. But if for some reason that hadn't been possible, I would have still pursued public health. I would have an MPH, and maybe I'd be doing what Secretary Landgraf
There you
is
go.
doing.
Okay, thank you. We're going to give the flowers now. And now I would like to ask the honorary co-chairs to come back, Kathleen and Doneen, please. Sorry. I almost gave away her flowers, the honorees flowers. Okay, on behalf of the Girl Scouts, the Chesapeake Bay, and the Women of Distinction Planning Committee, we would like to thank you for your participation this evening and for being wonderful role models for young women. I would also like to recognize all of our Girl Scouts who have participated in this wonderful program. Through events like tonight, you can see what amazing leaders these young women have become.
Thank you, Girl Scouts of Chesapeake Bay, for your thought-provoking questions. Thank you to our honorary chairs, Kathleen Fury McDonough, Doneen Keemer Damon, and all of our partners. This evening would not be possible without you. and we are grateful for all that you do for Girl Scouts of Chesapeake Bay. United States Senator Chris Coons was scheduled to give our closing remarks this evening, but unfortunately he was under the weather. Since he could not be here today, he sent us this video.
Hi, I'm Senator Chris Coons from Delaware, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to briefly speak with you. First, I'd like to congratulate my dear friends Deneen Damon and Kathleen McDonough for tonight's successful Girl Scout dinner. I'd like to also thank Ann Hogan for inviting me to help recognize this evening's honoree. Ann, thank you for your tireless leadership, your dedication and service to the Girl Scouts of the Chesapeake Bay. I'd also like to take this opportunity to recognize the many young women who are with you tonight, the Girl Scouts who are doing a terrific job as ambassadors for the Council. I'm proud to join you all in honoring one of our greatest community leaders in Delaware, Dr. Janice Nevin. Dr. Nevin, a proud native Delawarean and graduate of St. Andrews, reflects the values that make for a great Girl Scout: honest, fair, courageous, strong, and considerate. This evening, Dr. Nevin joins an amazing list of other women of distinction honored by Girl Scouts: Secretary Rita Landgraf, Gore CEO Terry Kelly, and First Lady Carla Markell, just to name a few. Dr. Nevin contributes her time to a number of wonderful endeavors, including United Way, Delaware Community Foundation, and our State Chamber of Commerce. As a young woman, her parents taught her that life is not about getting a job, but choosing a vocation that gives you an opportunity to really make a difference. That's why Dr. Nevin's true passion, other than caring for others, is the development of young women into powerful future leaders of our community. Her work with the Girl Scouts truly shows her passion for developing the future leaders of Delaware. My own mother, Sally, is another true champion of Girl Scouting and of this chapter. And if she were here tonight, she would challenge all of you to get even more involved. So don't stop at just buying Girl Scout cookies. Sponsor a Girl Scout, volunteer at one of their countless events, or support the Council in any way that suits you. Congratulations again to Dr. Nevin for receiving this well-deserved honor. And to all of you, thank you for what you do to help the Girl Scouts of the Chesapeake Bay Council.
Thank you, Senator. As you leave tonight,
Congratulations. And let me just say, we raised boys, one raised boys. She was a Girl Scout a long time ago. But when I think of Girl Scouts, I think of growing leaders for our country, leaders like Janice, leaders like Rita, and others in this room. And we're struggling as a nation a little bit this year with democracy, figuring out who's going to lead our country into the future. Joe Biden likes to say that campaigns are always about the future. I think campaigns are about who's going to lead our nation into the future. And we need leaders like Janice, we need leaders like Rita, and a bunch of you that are here in this room. And we need future leaders like a lot of the young ladies that are here and that are represented in Girl Scout, I'd call them packs, or I'm not sure what you call them, Boy Scouts, I don't know what we call them. But I just want to tell you what I've been privileged to know Janice for a long time. And she followed a great leader at Christianity. I don't know if it's here tonight. But we need leaders, and this kind of leader, I think, are people who have the heart of a servant, who understand that our job is to serve others, not to be served. Leaders who are humble, not haughty. We need leaders who are aspirational, like in Camus once said, the leaders should be purveyors of hope. We need leaders who are not afraid to stay out of step when everyone else is marching to the wrong tune. We need leaders who set an example. It's not like do what I say, but it's do what I do. We need leaders who don't realize you don't build yourself up by tearing other people down. And we need leaders who focus on doing not what's easy, not what's expedient, but on figuring out what is the right thing to do. We need leaders who embrace the golden rule, treat other people the way we want to be treated. Leaders who focus on excellence in everything we do. If it isn't perfect, make it better. And finally, we need leaders who, when they know they're right, they're sure they're right, just never give up. Never give up. And for years, you've been honoring leaders like that in our state. And tonight, you honor one of the greatest. And I just want to say to you on behalf of all Delawareans, congratulations. And I'm tempted to say God bless you, but you are a blessing to all of us. And we wish you continued success, and thank you for an extraordinary life. And is your mom here? Where's your sister? I always thought you were an only child. I'm just kidding. I was kidding. Tell your mom, Sadie, right? Yeah, tell her I said hi. And thanks for raising not one, but two terrific daughters. All right. God bless you. Thanks so much.
As you leave tonight, you will see a table set up in the lobby for Girl Scout Cookie Program. Please consider purchasing cookies to support our programs and activities, or making a donation through Operation Taste of Home to support sending cookies to our service members overseas as well as to charities on the Delmarva Peninsula. On behalf of the 17th Annual Woman of Distinction, Dr. Janice Nevin, and all of the other Girl Scouts in attendance, we are honored with your presence here tonight and want to thank you for making this evening special. As we complete this evening's program, please join our Girl Scouts as they sing our farewell song of the evening, and have a safe trip home.
God the Son,